big as it was on YouTube. I know it's further away, which is actually better because with Zoom it was too close. So what I have is a screenshot of all these beautiful cards that we're going to be making today. Okay. All right. All right. Now, I guess I'm already live, right? Okay. Can you see it or do you? Okay. All right. Well, all right then. Uh, all right. Anything else I should know? I guess how do I know when, huh? Okay. So now it's just waiting for people to show. Okay. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure how I was going to tell who. Well, let's see. There's four people. Maybe they're already there. I can't tell. It says four. Okay, I've got five now. So people new at this. I've got my daughter on my headset. If you're here, let's try doing the chat so we can say hi to everyone who's come. And I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure that we're making connections like we need to. Okay. Now, I'm gonna Dorothy, if you want, I think we're going. It says okay. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you for your help. Bye. Okay. Now, what I've done here is I have done a display of the 8 cards that we'll be creating today. But what I've done is I've taken these a step further, except for 2 of them. And if you look at your kits, you'll notice they're kind of in pairs of 2, A and B. And this is an example. These 2 are basically the same design, but we have changed the orientation. So one's vertical, one's horizontal. These next 2 I haven't finished yet, but I wanted to point out. These are both the Z folds. And what's happening is that looking at the paper, I determined I liked it going this way better. So this is going to be my vertical one, and this one will be my horizontal one. And I'll do my sentiment in relationship to that. So this one will open like this. These 2 I called the layout cards. And while they actually follow the same layout pattern, they turn out totally different because I switched, which side of the paper are showing where. Plus, I switched the orientation. And then these 2 are the last 2 cards. This one uses up the last 2 pieces of the designer series paper. And this one is the remaining piece. Both cards are beautiful. And I just changed the distribution, the orientation. So every card looks unique. Let's see. Okay. Hi. Okay, good. Cecilia. Okay, good. Yay, Evelyn. Now let's cross our fingers for Rhonda, please. Are you there, Rhonda? Are you able to communicate? Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to start with this because I thought it helps to have a picture of what we're working towards today. I'm thankful you're here. I'm looking forward to doing a lot of fun stuff with you and not bumping my mouse so that I lose my picture on the screen. But I just think these cards are so gorgeous. And there it is. And I was excited to share it with you because I think they're wonderful. Anyway, what I've got I have some notes to kind of keep me on track because I can go off track really easily. There are many kinds of one-sheet wonders, and I've looked at a number of them. The one that we're doing today, I got from Peggy Merwin, and I one of the reasons why I really like it is because the cards aren't all the same, or groups are totally the same, similar. Now, doing cards like that, there's nothing wrong with it. If you don't mind just making bulk cards. Uh, I like the variety. I just really am a variety person. So I never see myself. I mean, I have on orders made cards that were the same, but generally I might make 2 or 3 of the same, but then I'm moving on to something different. I explained how these cards are using the same paper and generally the same background layout, cardstocks and things like that. But because we change things around, each card looks unique. Let's see. Now, in your kit today, I gave you a sheet from the Regal Winter Designer Series paper. I'm bringing this out because I think that paper is gorgeous, and I wanted you to know it's on the last chance list, which happens to be discounted right now. The last chance list only lasts as long as the products are there, but I ordered one just recently and it was fine. It's beautiful paper, and I didn't want you to miss out on the chance if you really liked it and wanted to go for more. So that's the number 164156, just to help you out. All right, now let's see. Okay, with now let's see. The celebration, which is this, is continuing to the end of February, and I'm just showing you a few samples. What happens with the celebration is for each $60 purchase that you make from the regular catalog or the mini catalog, you can earn a free item. And I'm just kind of sharing some of the free items that I've gotten. This is an embossing folder, and I'm moving it around so you can see the embossing I did. For an example, these are purple adhesive back sequins. It's a variety of shades, and I think that they can, well, in fact, with a terrific toadstool, I think the colors work perfectly. But now here's another one. This one is towards the back of the book. It's one of the $120 sets. And I have seen so many beautiful things done with this that I've caved and I went for it. I used it on one of the cards that I just showed you earlier. I've seen so many wonderful examples. I'm looking forward to exploring it more. And I wanted to say that, yes, Valentine's Day is right around the corner, but hearts are for any time. Anytime there's love involved, hearts are involved. That's now the papers that you can get. Here's one of them. This is let's see. It's called Bloom Impressions, and it's just a colorful floral assortment with backgrounds that are, more subdued to combine together and make lovely, cheerful cards. That's one free paper. I'm looking forward to playing with it. In fact, I'm almost tempted to do one sheet wonder using it. And then this one is Terrific Toadstools, which actually pairs well with the Terrific Toadstool stamp set. And I have used it in one of my cards. I've done a video on it, and it would be in my YouTube page. So you can look at it if you'd like. It's not very long, but just one card, and I just demonstrated what I did to put a card together. I am fond of mushrooms, and so it kind of appealed to me right off the bat. Now let's move on. The mini catalog. Oh yeah, the mini catalog. I have my wish list going, but there's a lot of beautiful things. This page 38 and 39 displays the beautiful butterflies suite. Now, I got this suite. I've been playing with it, and in fact, I will be doing a class on it at the 15th of February, and there's just so much potential. Number one, I wanted to remind you that when you have these catalogs, not only do they show you the suite and the pieces that go with it, they also show you samples of how you can use what's in the suite. And it's a wonderful starting place for inspiration. And then here's another one. And this one I just got. Now, looking at the catalog, you couldn't tell about the paper. I'm here to show you the paper. And this is what sold me on this set. Because, let me get the opening somewhere along here. There we go. This set has the gold foil on it. And already that caught my attention. The backgrounds are more muted and subtle. But here's another one. Again, you have the gold foiling. And the background has little sprigs in seafoam green. Here's another one. This, it's beautiful. I get excited looking at it, right? Okay, so, and then this background, I kind of like this combination. Look at that. Wouldn't that go great together? Anyway, the next one is designed to cut into sections. Now, this could really make your card making fast and fun. I love the results. I love the possibilities with this. And I may be doing a class later using some of this. I know I will be doing a class using this suite because what I've seen is just too good to pass up. Now, here's a surprise. This is not just regular paper. These are die cuts. They are already cut and ready for you to pluck out and use on your card. And of course, they coordinate perfectly with the papers and designs. And just how can you make it any easier than that to do your cards? Oh my gosh, we're going to have fun with that. Plus, the fact it's birthday centered. Here, let me show you. It's a birthday centered set. Okay, so it's designed for birthdays. You've got the numbers that you can die cut. You've got the first, the second, third, fifth, Anyway, just so much potential here. Plus, they're called party dots. These party dots are included with bright, cheerful colors that coordinate perfectly with the paper. And then here's the last sheet. I put this behind because I wanted to protect the die cuts. But this one also has the gold. It's cakes. Let me get it going the right direction. Yeah, it's cakes, and then it's got a subtle stripe design on the back. I saw the paper and I thought, oh gosh. And then I considered what the set was about. And I thought, yep. I can make good reason for getting that set, which is what I did. Oh, forgot them. It also has this, and I don't know if it's going to show very well. Let me see. Well, this is maybe dark enough. This is a really fine open weave ribbon. I'm trying to get the dark. Maybe if I move this. No, I got too much shine. All right. It's anyway, open weave ribbon. It can be tied, it can be spread out. It just has lots of possibilities with it. Okay, I'm going to put this aside. Now, let's get back to my map of what we're going to do. Okay, now if any of you need or like a catalog or brochure, let me know. I do have them on hand. Let's see. Now, with your kits, I included instructions. And we will be following these instructions as we make the cards. However, what happens as I'm going through and guiding you along, I will bring up little tips or handy hints or ideas to help with you in your creative process. Now, you have your actual kits with the parts and pieces, except for the pieces of the paper. We're going to be cutting that. But I wanted you to know that there's 2 cards each with similar layouts. These first 2 would be, I call it the 4 square. They're really rectangles, but they're one's designed, you can do it vertically and one the other horizontally. So there's 2 for each. There's 2 for the Z folds. Yeah, I've labeled them A and B. There are 2 for the layouts, A and B. And then there's 2 that we use up the remaining pieces of the designer series paper. And we'll be going down the line with that. But first thing we have to do is we have to cut our paper. Now, I'm going to move that to the side. And in cutting the paper, oh, one more thing I want to mention before I forget. You received your kits in a package with the cardboard. I did that on purpose to protect your paper. But there's another thing. The package I used came from the gold foil sheets. For each kit, I used 1 package of this gold foil. There comes 2 sheets, and I used 1 package, which is why I had these available to put with the kits. You'll have a few scraps left over, but I bought the foil because it takes about 2 sheets to do a set. However, when I first created these cards, I used product that I had already on hand, and so not all of them were the same gold. And I can point that out later when we go back over some of the cards I've done. But so I would suggest after you do this kit, I'd like to encourage you to try it with a whole nother designer series paper. Just make sure that the 2 the back and front coordinate well with each other. And I'd like you to explore what you already have in your stash. And if you have gold foil, good. If you have, I had some distressed gold, which I absolutely loved. I also had some gold glimmer paper. Explore what you have. Maybe you have, oh, I don't know, green foil. You can pick up the green in the cards. Just look and see what you have and try different combinations. That's all part of the creative process. Now I'm going to take the paper out and I'm going to put this aside. Oh, by the way, the gold foil sheets, I gave you the package and it has the number on it to order if that's what you'd like to do. Okay, now for the cards, I'm going to get my paper trimmer. And what I think I might do, well, let's see. Is this enough light for you? I do have one more light I could put on, which would be brighter, but I didn't know if it would give me too harsh of a shadow or what. The more light I have, the more reflection I can get. Anyway, this is my Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer. I'm going to move this out of the way. And, I do that and I move that. Okay, there we go. What we're going to do is we're going to go following the instructions right down the line. We're going to start cutting our paper. Now, the paper I chose isn't really directional, so you don't have to worry about that so much. You can use this layout with directional paper, you just have to keep that in mind, when you're working with it, whether it's going to be directional or not. All right, so the first cut, I'm going to go to the 4-inch mark. Okay, make sure your paper's up at the top of your paper trimmer to make sure it's all nice and even. Oh, paper trimmer comes with 2 blades. The light colored one is the scoring blade, and the dark is the cutting blade. And I'm just going to go right down at the 4-inch mark and cut a strip 4 inches. I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to keep these in order as I cut. It'll just simplifies things. The next cut we're going to be making is at 3 inches. So we're going to take and we're going to cut down, line this up, make sure it's even, and then cut at the 3-inch mark. Okay. Now, the next one, here's where it gets a little trickier. The next one will be cut at 1 5/8. So here's the 1 inch. 4/8 would be the 1/2 inch mark. So 5/8 is 2 slices. Yeah, 2 marks beyond that, because those are 16th inch marks there. Again, make sure it's nice and straight. Bring it down and cut. Now the next one, and I'm putting this on top. Okay. Now the next one is going to be 1 3/8, which, remember I said the 1 1/2 would be 1 4/8. Well, 1 3/8 is 1/8 of an inch less. And so that's going to go there. I'm making sure that it's nice and flush. See, it's not. So I got to make sure I've got it lined up right. There. See, that's the one thing you need to be cautious of when you're doing this, is make sure that it doesn't twist a little bit on you. Okay. Now I'm slicing. Whoops. I'm slicing this. Okay. Now, this remaining piece, by measurements, should be 2 inches. However, I have discovered that many times our designer series paper might be a smidge more than 2 inches. So what I'm doing is I'm lining this up at the 2-inch mark, making sure it's right on the line even. Okay, I'm going to close this. I'm going to hold this down. I use pressure on the, and I'm going to come down. And as you can see, I got a little tiny, maybe a 1/16 of an inch strip. So the reason why I bother with this is because in our card, in our layout, that little bit can make a difference, especially when you're docking with 4 pieces. So if that was a 1/16 of an inch, it'd be a total of a 1/4 inch difference. And we don't need to have that confuse us. All right, now, let me go to the next page. Now that we're going to take and cut these. So I'm going to start with the bottom one, the 4-inch wide one. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut it into 3-inch increments. Now, this is a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. If I cut this, this is one of those hints, it's not in the instructions, Mrs. Durley. If I cut this in half, okay, that's 2 6-inch pieces. If I take this, line it up, and cut it at the 3-inch mark, now I have 4 pieces that are 3 inches by 4 inches. I'm going to set this off again in order. The next one we're going to cut is the 3-inch strip, and these we're going to cut into 4 4-inch sections. So I'm lining it up, cutting. That's 1, And lining it up again. 2. Okay, there. Now, what we have is we have the ones that we cut this way, and we have the ones that we cut that way. They're both the same size, but they're cut from 2 different directions. This is where it comes into play. If you're using directional paper, that this would make a difference when you consider which one you're going to use for which card for the layout purposes. I just wanted to clarify that one. Okay, the next one, let's see. Yeah, the 3rd and 4th strips. What's going to happen with both of these is we're going to cut into 5-inch strips. Okay, there's 1. 2. And then you'll have a little scrap. Now, you might find a use for this, but this isn't part of what we're going to be using for our cards. One of the suggestions was to cut it diagonally and use it kind of as a decoration for the inside panel. It's big enough, I could think of a number of different things we could do with it. So I don't know that I'd just discard it. I think I'd put it aside for future use. Same thing here. This is the narrower strip, 5 inches. And 5 inches. Now, sometimes you might want to consider what's being cut on your paper and decide, maybe I like this side better. So that's up to you. So we have the wider ones and the narrower ones. This last one, we're going to use the same trick we used earlier. These are 2 inches wide. We're going to cut it into 8 pieces. Well, if you cut it at the 6-inch mark, cutting it in half, and then we're lining up together, and 1.5 and 1.5 equals 3. So if we cut at the 3-inch mark, okay, and then the next cut we make will be at the 1.5-inch mark. And by combining it like that, it just makes the cutting go faster, as long as you make sure that it's nice and lined and straight. And there we go with our 8 pieces coming. One more. Now, can everyone see okay? Do we have enough light, or do we need any more? Just let me know. Okay, so there's our 8 pieces. All right, now I'm going to put this aside for right now. And the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's get to our kits. And I meant to get more glue, but we'll make do with what I've got, I think. Let's see. All right. Now, you have your card base. I'm going to fold it. Wonderful. Hi, Alice. Oh, my granddaughter's joining us. How exciting. Okay. Oh, good, Veronica. Okay, I'm glad you're here, because I was kind of sorry to think that you missed out on some of the little extras. All right, so this is the first card. And what's going to end up happening is we're going to layer these. The first one has the gold layer, and then the green, and then the white. Now, I'm going to work with the white first. And what we're going to do is we're going to take these squares. We're going to take 4 of them. Okay, and then what? Now, this is something that's going to apply for all the cards. But I'm going to look at these and determine which pictures, if you will, I want showing on my card. Let's see. I think I like those. So the other 2 I'm just going to turn over. And that's the ones that I'm going to alternate with. And then I'm going to put one. I do my layouts first, so I have a good idea where I'm positioning them. And then I put the others here. Okay. Okay, now once we have them kind of evenly spaced, then we can go ahead and start gluing. Now, generally, I prefer the liquid glue, especially when it comes to positioning things. But there will be times when I think the tape runners or, well, that's a big one. Let's get a little one. Or tear tape are a better option. Okay, there will be times when I use those. I don't think it makes a big deal of difference if you prefer to use like a tape runner or other forms of the glue. But for my own comfort, and I'm going to move this a little bit closer to me, for my own comfort, I prefer when I have to adjust the liquid glue. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to add a little glue here. Let's see, which way do I want to? I like it that way. By having the others in position, it kind of helps me when I go to lay it out. And basically, I'm just taking all 4 pieces in turn, adding some glue, and laying it in place, trying to keep it pretty much aligned with the others. Now, I fell in love with this Regal winter paper. I just love the gorgeous colors. And I knew immediately that I wanted it. And then when I found out about this One Sheet Wonder, I had to get more because I used it with One Sheet Wonder. I love the results. In fact, it was crazy. I made a set of these and they just flew out so quickly. Now I'm adding glue to the back of the white layer. And I'm going to line that up with the green layer. Or in some cases, you have a blue layer. I'm just going to make sure it's even. Now, this is where my white calendar is kind of helpful. Because if I had a dark background, I might have trouble seeing the outline of the darker cardstock. Okay, once that's up there, we're going to simply take this, add glue. Again, if you've got directional paper, you want to stay conscious of which way you're laying this on your, oh gosh, the foil. The foil. Okay. There we go. All right. Make sure it's even. And then always make sure your cards opening the right way. It's caught me one time too where I didn't, and oh my. All right, here we go. Last layer. Lining it up. Again, that wiggle room is really helpful to me. All right, there we are. Now, this is the point that I'm trying to bring you to for each of the cards. But I wanted to point out, this is where your creativity comes into play. Now, what I do is I have various little, well, actually, I did the wrong thing. Okay. Wait a minute. There. Get the right one. Here we go. I have little die cuts and things like that that I have used to decorate. And in this case, and you can look at what you already have. You don't have to use that. Remember that paper I showed you from the birthday set? They have a wide range of die cuts that you could work from as well. And then what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of figuring out, okay, is that what I want? Is that how I like the placement? Do I want this down further or something like that? You know, and kind of play with it there. Now, in the finished card, I probably would pop up the "You Are Amazing" part and leave that down there. But I just wanted to give you ideas to get your creativity flowing. Another thing you could do, and I'll show you another set of cards I have, you could use a ribbon, any number of things. But that's the first card. And I'm just going to add this to my little supply. And we'll use it a little bit later because you guys aren't going to do that yet. We're going to work on the second card. And part of the reason why I thought we could do this and not overtax you is because the second card is going to be very similar to the first card, except that when you display it, you're going to display it in a vertical, depending on which one you like, which way, vertical or horizontal, opposite the other. So that's one card down. And the next card, using 4 more pieces. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to put this with this. All right. And then this one. So basically, you're going to be repeating the same. When I fold my cards, now they suggest bone folders. I generally use my back of my nail. But when you fold your cards, sometimes there's a little bit of a lip. That's the side you want to be on the front, so that I figure that out and place it up that way. And then remembering from the other card, we're going to take these. We're going to look at our pictures and decide, well, let's see, do I like those flowers and those flowers? But if I'm doing it horizontally, yeah, I like it that way. Okay. And then these other two can be flipped over and we can use that. And then I just kind of go again and kind of even them out so I know where they need to go. Kind of even the space. And once I have them in position, then I take them one by one, add the glue, and put them on. And having the other ones laid in position kind of helps me reposition the card or the piece I pulled off. Yeah, that way. Okay. Now we're ready to start layering. And you'll notice I reversed on the layers. Instead of having the foil in the bigger one, it's the smaller one. That's another way of making the cards different. Okay. Another thing I'm going to mention, a friend of mine gave me this tile. And you might ask, what business has a tile to do with card making? Well, it's got weight. And if you've got stuff in a tricky position, you can set it on there while you apply your glue to something else. In this case, I'm going ahead and putting the green layer on the white card base. And just, it doesn't have to be a tile. Just even one of your acrylic blocks would work. But it's just a way of reinforcing that the glue gets good bonding. Now, I admit I was a little confused the first time I saw the tile. She was doing a retreat. And I was wondering, well, what's that for? Well, she kind of explained it. The idea is to help hold your stuff where it belongs while the glue sets. And bingo, 2 cards done. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the envelope and move it to the side. Now the next cards we're doing, did I get the wrong thing? Oh, this is the right one. Okay. Next cards we are doing are the Z folds. This is another one you're going to need to use your paper trimmer for, but in this case, it's going to be for the scoring blade. Well, let's see. Okay. Apparently, my son's only giving my granddaughter a sneak peek because he wants his computer back again. Okay, so for the Z fold card, I've already scored it in half. You know, that's the standard card base. And I'm kind of checking in these ones pretty much, well, a little bit there. Okay, now what I'm doing is I picked the side that's slightly larger. That's going to be the front, and that's what I'm going to work on. I'm going to take, and we are going to score it. That's the gray blade on the Stampin' Up! Trimmer. We're going to score it at 2 1/8. Now, why 2 1/8? Because 2 1/8 is 1/2 of 4 1/4. So we're going to score. And then we're going to take, for both the cards, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take and we're going to fold that score back on itself. So you end up with this Z kind of a, and here's where I tend to use the bone folder because it's a little stronger. But I'll take and I'll reinforce that score in both cases. Okay, so we're going to need to do that with the second card as well. bringing it back. Okay, unfolding it. Checking. I think this one's slightly larger, so that's the side that's going to be the front. I'm putting it at 2 1/8. Make sure it's nice and straight in there, and then I'm scoring. Now, some people only score once. I usually do it several times because I don't like to press super hard. That usually saves me when I switch and I'm scoring on Designer Series paper, because if you score hard, you might actually tear the paper. So this way, repeat scoring isn't a big deal. And it saves me from mistakes later on if I'm using paper. Okay, bone folder. Reinforcing. Now, the reason why I'm doing both these cards at the same time is because I'm going to be determining what way, which one's going to go. And now, for the A, this strip is in gold. Let's see. Which one am I using? Oh, I got way on ahead of myself. Okay. See, I just took over and was doing what I do. All right. This is going to be paired with the 1 5/8 inch, which is the wider of the two. You have the two. We're taking the wider one. This is going to be paired with the 1 5/8. And see how that layers on there, just like that. Okay, that's one. And then the other one is going to be paired with okay. Oh, by the way, the gold and the white are designed to be for the inside. There it is. I'm really good at covering over what I have. Okay, I'm moving the gold and the white so it's ready. And then I'm taking this other piece. Now, I'm looking at the pieces. Which one do I like the best? It's hard. I like them both. All right. So what's going to happen on one of these? I think I'm going to go this way. On one of these, I'm going to have the Designer Series paper on the strip go face up. And on the other one, I'm going to have it go with the other side showing. Okay? That's just so you know. And then we have these pieces here. And what I'm going to do, these will be actually going on the front. It'll be a front flap. And we're going to match it up with a couple of the 3x4s. Now, here I'm looking at it. See, if that one's going that way, I'm probably going to want to have that. Let's see. Do I like it that way? Or this way? This way. All right, I'm going to have that side on the top. And the way it's going to go will be like that. And it'll be a horizontal card. And then this one would be a vertical card. So I would be flipping one side this way. Okay. There. That's going to be the combination. Okay. Once you know how you're going to be laying this out, you can go ahead and start gluing. I would go ahead and start with the inside, because you're going to be using the inside layers as a guide when you lay the final flap on. So I'm taking and I'm putting glue on the white. Now, again, when you're making these on your own, if you know already what occasion this card's going to be used for, you can go ahead and stamp your sentiment before you glue these together. Okay, I've got that going. I can put a little weight on it. I'm going to do this one. Okay, I pick these up so I can see them better, and lining them up, evening them out. I'm just going to set that in there for right now. I'm going to add this one now. See, when you do 2 cards, you can do that step, and while the other one's having the weight and the glue's adhering, you can go ahead and do the other card. So it works pretty well that way. Now, here we go. Okay. All right. Same story. And honestly, as you get used to doing these cards, it almost becomes second nature. And honestly, we have busy lives, you know. It's nice when you can let our habits kind of take over part of the responsibility. Okay, next step is putting these 2 slender pieces together. See, this is easy because you've already made your decision. Now you just got to follow through. All right, I got to pick this up and look. I like it. Okay, next step. This one. Now, I don't know if it's true for everybody, but I find a lot of joy in creating cards, especially when you're working with beautiful papers. It's just like, oh, yes. Okay, this one's done, so we can go ahead and add it to the flap. Hi, Rhonda. Glad you could join. I think it's a fun thing to do, and I'll tell you, after I did this a second time using this gorgeous paper, I was hooked. I had to keep doing it. Okay, that's one flap. And then this is another flap. I'm going to let that set there.
I got to go buy some foam. The foam is disintegrating.
Okay. Okay, we're almost done, guys. That quick. Boom. Hold on. All right, let's see. Well, I went and lost a piece. There we go. Okay, so here we go. Oh, I didn't mention it at the beginning, but I am new at this YouTube, and I understand that it's helpful for me to build my channel if people like and share. So if you like what you see and you want to share the joy with others, go ahead. All right. See, I'm just kind of alternating back and forth. Now, let's see, which way am I going to do this? Yeah, I like it that way. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be layering this over the flap, and it's going to come and show part of the interior, which is why we went ahead and lined it with the foil just to make it that much more attractive and make it part of the card itself. So I just wanted to see where it was going to fall, and I'm only going to put glue on this half. I'm not going to, because you can't put glue on this part because then you'll glue your card shut. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to just put glue on that top half. Again, it's a matter of paying attention to what you're doing. Okay. And I want to even on both sides. All right. There. Same story here. Okay. All right. Even it up. And there you go. And you've got your Z fold done. And then what you'll do is you'll pick a sentiment, and I'll show some more examples of that to help you with your creative process. But this is where you're going to be taking over and doing your touch. This is where you're going to add what's special to you. If you want this to be a thank you card or birthday card or congratulations card, whichever. All right. So one is meant to go horizontally and one vertical. And you can either, this one I think you can do either way, but I'm just giving you instructions should you choose to use directional paper. Okay, that's 2 more cards done. So how you guys doing? Am I going too fast? You got to let me know. I can chit chat a little more, slow down. Okay. All right, getting ready to move on to the layout cards. Let's see, is there anything else I wanted to mention? Nope. Okay, we're good. Layout cards. Okay, now I wanted to mention that when I did these cards, because I wasn't using the same designer series paper for all of the kits, some of these will have a blue or a Blackberry Bliss or a Cherry Cobbler cardstock with it. Some of them will be the card bases. Those that had card bases that had the dark colored cardstock, I made sure that I included a piece for the inside, an inside layer. When they're white like this, I didn't feel like it was necessary. Again, I'm checking which way my card opens, which one has a slight lip, and I'm lining it up there. There's one. And then this is the other layout. Okay. 2. Now you'll notice in these two layouts, one has a larger piece and then a smaller piece. One has the larger with the foil. The other one had the foil smaller and the cardstock larger. Okay. All right. So that's the way they go. All right. Now let's see. Here again, we're going to be determining which side of the designer series paper are we going to have show. Honestly, I love them both. It's hard to decide. Let's see what the next. We're going to grab the 3x4s. Let's see. Okay, if I have this on that, then I need to do this on this. And then for the layout, it's going to be the opposite. And this is where I buried it. All right. Come to mama. All right. My original sketches. Okay. That's a Z-fold. That's a layer. Okay. So if I have this one showing with a paper here, I want to go this way with that. And just the opposite with this. Okay. Now we can go ahead and start putting things together. Remember, I've already checked to see which side of the card base is going to be the front. And now I am going to add glue and add the strip. Whoop, let's not get too greedy there. Okay. All right, I'm going to lay this on here about 1/8 of an inch around each edge. Okay, now then I'm going to apply the glue to the back of this. And put it down on the foil, moving it around so it's nice and even. Okay. Those two are ready. Let's work on this while those have set down. All right, I'm going to do this one next. A lot of times, because foil isn't porous, it takes a little bit longer for the glue to set, which is another reason why I'll add a weight to it, just kind of to reinforce that it stays where it's supposed to stay. Making sure it's even. Okay, putting you there. And then I'm going to add the glue here. Now, I'm kind of curious because this One Sheet Wonder, the cards actually go very quickly. And I'm curious as to, I was estimating on how long this would take. We're just at the hour mark. And we are already on the 5th and 6th cards. So that's pretty good. All right. Now we're ready to go with this. I'm let its weight set there. Now on this one, I cheated a little. And while I could have had this over a little more this way, I'm moving it a little closer to this side because I wanted the paper to show more. That's all. I just love the paper. And I'm in trouble. Every time they bring out beautiful paper, I'm in trouble. Can't help myself. I gotta have some. Okay, that went quickly. And then there we go again. Now, I tend to really like pretty cards. Whimsical's okay once in a while, but I'm really into pretty cards. And so when I can make a group of pretty cards like this, I just go for it. And like I said before, the first time I made a set with the Regal Winter Designer Series paper, it flew out. It just went quickly because it was so pretty. I couldn't wait to share it with other people. Of course, I took pictures because I loved it so much, but I also made another set real quick too because, again, I loved it so much and I knew it was flying away. So now this one, I'm not so worried about the paper showing on the strip. Okay. I like the little holder, the glue holder. I think it probably could use a little more weight in the bottom, but I like the fact that it holds the glue face down, so the glue's ready to go. I know there's various places that are making them. I don't happen to know where that particular one came from. It was a gift, but it's a much appreciated gift. Okay, there you are. 2 layout cards, but 1. Let's see. Either way, you can choose which way you want it to go. It could go either way. Anyway, 2 more cards done. How about that? We're getting down. Okay. Put those in the envelope. And we're ready to move on to the last 2. Now, these last 2 are really kind of a free-for-all because there's less pieces to work with, and so you can let your creativity take over. Again, okay, here's one where I had the dark cardstock. Okay, that's the front. Okay, now here we are with our beautiful papers. I think I'm going to want this one to go with this. I think. So I'm going to set that there. And then this one, I'm going to have this. Okay, go like that. And go like that. Let's take a look and see if I like that. Yeah. Or we could go down here. That's up to you. I think I like it better that way. Okay. So once I know which way I'm going, then I proceed. I'm kind of curious. Veronica was always so fast at creating cards. Are you sitting there waiting for me because you're going faster than me again? I'm wondering. I was always amazed at how quickly she could put them together. But I think she anticipates a lot because she's had a lot of experience making cards. And Rhonda, if you're out there, oh, there you are! Yay! Hi. Okay. I'm going to let this sit for a minute because it's got the foil. And I'm going to, let's see. That's going to go there. And this one, that's a different story. Okay, these last two are not exact same cards. These are a little different because I only have one piece of Designer Series paper left for this one. So we're doing something a little different with it. And then just adding the glue again. Okay. And then this will be quick. Now, I know Stampin' Up! Has a glass mat that comes kind of with a kit with other things, but I already used a glass mat, so yes, the grid is a nice idea, but I haven't invested in another glass mat because I already have one. I like it because it's easy to clean. I like it because I can have my calendar underneath it because so many times I'm referencing my calendar. And I don't know if you are like me, but I tend to bury things on my desk really quickly. This way I always know where my calendar is so I can use it and determine what date. Okay, this is the first of the remaining cards. Okay, I'm going to put that aside. And then this is the next one. Now this is going to be a little different. Come on. Okay, that's the front. Guess what? We have the inside panel because this is the dark cardstock. I'm going to go ahead and add that. Again, when you're doing these on your own, you can, you probably already know who the card's going to be for or what the occasion will be. And you can go ahead and stamp your sentiment in there if that's what you wish. Sometimes I'm just working with note cards. Like a lot of thank yous are basically note cards. So I don't worry about stamping a sentiment. Now this piece, if you can see it, I embossed. I love embossing folders. I love the texture and the variety that they give us. And I'm using it because no other piece in this group has embossing. So this card will be unique on its own. And because it's an embossing folder, I'm adding extra glue because the paper isn't flat, so there isn't as much contact. And so I needed to have assurance that it would be nice and glued. Now, this is my silicone mat. Stampin' Up! Sells silicone mats. I've had this one. I haven't found a reason to not use it. And But the silicone mats are handy. Now, this is a case where I will not use the liquid glue. Foil and liquid glue are a little touchy. What I'm going to be doing, maybe I should show this to you first. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding these strips of gold to the top and the bottom, showing about maybe 1/8 of an inch. Now I see this one's a little bit long, so I'll trim that off. But first I'm going to apply, and way I'm doing it, you can use tear tape or you can use the tape runner right along the edge, and that's where this mat comes in, because if I run over the edge, I can kind of scoot it back. I'm going to do one at a time. Okay, I'm setting this on here, and I'm lining it up about 1/4 inch. Okay, there's there, or 1/8 inch, basic. Oh, that's more like 1/8. Okay, and then the same thing on this side. Yeah. All right. I just found it was a little more controllable and easier to use the tape runner. Oh. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to trim this a little bit. Oh, this looks like it needs a little bit here too. Just a little bit. Poop. It gets trickier when they're really close. Okay. Now, I've added the gold strips. This is already adhered to the front of the card. I'm just going to add it to the front here. Let's see, make sure it's flipping this way. I like this direction better. Now, if you want, you could put this up on dimensionals. Let's do it just to be different. Now, I use dimensionals, but I'm not, how do you say, crazy for dimensionals? I mean, I like them. I like the results, but I don't push my luck. I don't overdo. Now, here's something. I'm almost out of dimensionals here. And I have, if you can see it, I have a little strip along the edges I haven't used. I'm going to take a section of those and put them in the middle, because they work perfectly well, doing their job, even if they're a strip. And that way I don't feel like I'm wasting anything either. I have a hard time throwing stuff away, so this way I'm using it. Okay, now I'm going to bring this a little closer to me so I can see what I'm doing. I'm not going to press down. I'm just going to say gently, a little bit lower. That's another place where the embossing helps, is because there's not as much contact. Yeah, there we go. Okay, like it. Okay, now you have it. 8 cards. Can you believe it? It took us 1 hour and 15 minutes, and a lot of that time was just in showing you what was happening and what was coming and new products and stuff like that. Can you believe that? Isn't that awesome? You were able to get 8 cards done in about 1 hour. That is so neat. Okay, let's see. Make sure I've got everything else I was going to show you. Let's see. Okay. Now I wanted to talk to you about my next class. And I had stuff. Where did I put it? Huh. Okay, maybe what I'll do is I'll talk a little bit first while I figure out where I put my stuff. There it is. Found you. Okay. I'm going to talk a little bit more about what we had. Now, these samples might have more meaning for you now, having gone through the process. I was reminded by my upline that sometimes people need extra encouragement as far as what how to decorate. So I just did a few of these beyond the point that we took them, and just giving you some ideas. Like if you have I love this one. This is a new punch that we have that is coordinated with the stamp set. There's 2 stamp sets that go with it. One's a heart stamp set, and one's I think it's called Cheerful Borders. But it's just like a fun thing. You stamp it, you can do the outline and put your sentiment that you want inside, and that's fun to do. This one is one of the this is one of the last 2 cards, and what I did was I got that new set, All That Hearts or whatever it's called, with the die cut for this leafy heart, and I just thought it was so pretty I had to try it, and we were using the gold anyway, so it worked really well with that. Now this one, I used one of the Spotlight on Nature dies. Sympathy cards are hard, and usually you don't get a lot of notice, and so you have to have some ready. It's always a hard thing to do, but anyway, I always try to include a few because it seems like they go in groups and suddenly I'm out of it. Now, I do have another set that I haven't really showcased. This is the first set that I did, and I wanted to explain. When I first try something, I will use pretty paper, but I'm not going to commit to paper that I will have a hard time parting with. So I was using Stylish Chic, I think it was called. Anyway, the paper, it's the same paper. It's just the reverse side I thought was beautiful too. And it has the gold on it. Okay, I admit I'm attracted to the gold. But what I did was I went through, I did the layouts. In this case, I used a ribbon to embellish it and add my sentiment. I used the glimmer paper I had. It was a great way of using up stock. This is the same card, different orientation. In this case, I just put the happy birthday banner across it. Here's one of the Z folds I took, and I got a little fancy with the label. I stamped it in the colors and put the sentiment on there, and then included my sentiment on the inside. This one is a Z fold opening this way. Hello, makes a nice note card. The only trick is you want to make sure you stay within the borders if you're writing a little note. Thank you cards. Always need thank you cards. There's so many people, so many things you need thank you cards for. Anyway, that's the same thing. Layout 1. That's horizontal. And layout 2. That's vertical. I simply added a little ribbon here as additional decoration. Here's one of the final 2 cards. Again, I used a strip in there, and then I embellished it with a circle and my sentiment. And then again, a sympathy card. Sad fact of life. They needed. Okay. I think that's about it. Oh no, I was going to show you the cards. That's what I got sidetracked on. Okay. See, that's why I use the notes. Keep me online. This one, this is the card I'm starting with for the class February 15th. And this is a dimensional card. It's meant, well, you can see it this way, but it's meant to be displayed. It stands up. It's a little heavier on the card, but we're doing a pop-up mechanism so that the butterfly pops up, so it's fun. And then we're doing a belly band. Now, the way I did the card, because I can't do the stamp. Oh, I forgot the back. And the back gives you the room to write your note or message. Now, the way I did it, I couldn't do the stamping for you. So that's something you'll have to do on your own. I also am going to be doing the embossing for you in case you don't have the kit. If you don't have the kit, you'll have to, go with what items you do have for your sentiment and stamping. But there are tips I'll bring out in class if you have the kit that you can do. Now, using up pieces, like I die cut out a butterfly here. I used the piece because I embossed it, and I added another butterfly in there. And I used a technique on this I'll describe in my class. I've taught it once before, but it's kind of a fun technique to use, and I really like how it turned out. And then this is the third card that we'll be doing. It won't be exactly like this, but it's the technique. In this case, I used a card I previously prepared for a backdrop using a wash, and then I die cut and added the other elements of the butterfly. So this is the third card. These two cards, because we'll be using pieces already created, it'll go a little faster. And I just love, with the background having special elements that kind of pop out to make it stand out. And the black tends to make the colors pop anyway. So that's one. Those are the three cards that we'll be doing in class. There is another element in the set. This one allows that you could actually cut and make a butterfly shaped card. This would be fun for like maybe an invitation or, something that will catch people's eye because they don't always see cards like that. It can be decorated. There's ideas in the catalog that shows how to do that. And this is another take on that same die cut where I added a designer series paper background, and I probably will put another butterfly behind this so that you have room to put your sentiment inside. Anyway, that's for my next class, and I think that's all I needed to cover. I'll make one sure. I think that is it. Anyway, I hope you had fun, and I hope to see some samples of what you guys made, because that's my favorite thing, is watching what you guys create. And anyway, if you have any questions, you can contact me. I understand that there's a way of doing that on YouTube. I'm not sure if I know how, but that's pretty good for an hour and a half. We covered a lot of material. If there's issues that you had with this recording or the class itself, because I am just starting, if you can help, let me know so I can see what I can do to fix it. I could have added an additional light, but when I tried it earlier, it did make it brighter, but it also made the shadows a little sharper. So I wasn't too sure if that's what I wanted to do. Working on the lighting. But anyway, let me know. Enjoy. Oh, please enjoy this. And please apply it to more cards. Uh, let's use your beautiful paper up. Let's share the joy with cards. And thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate all of you. And I love seeing what you create. Um, have a good week. And I got to find my pieces. Remember how to close this. Oh, here it goes. End stream. Bye.